Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whenever that you might be tuning in. We are live, and this is Yonks with Solar EV, and this is now our fifth working group as we are building our Community Energy Innovation Prize. And with me today, I'm also joined with Tyler, Mrs. Yonks, my superpower, and also Amy, our co-founders here. Good afternoon, ladies. We've got a lot of agenda, so I'm going to hop right into it. So let me go ahead and take down our thumbnail. So this is also the first time that we're using Fireflies, the AI bot, for seeing what we can make use of that here today also. So anyway, here is Notion, and this is something that I provided in wherever that you might be watching the live stream from. And if anybody's watching the live stream, feel free to throw in some comments here today. And let me get everybody added to participants on here today. So just scrolling down, this is a template that we use for facilitating. And one of the things that I always want to bring forward is that we're building a very inclusive team. Let me make this a little bit bigger for everybody. So we are still accepting new teammates for our Community Energy Innovation Prize, and there's some details on here. And if you would like to have a conversation with me to kind of see how that you could contribute, just understand things, feel free to book a time slot on that. So we also have a events calendar here in Notion, and this is something that updates based upon tagged events within our Notion database. And this is our normally scheduled working group. And as far as I know, the only time here in 2023 that we're not planning to have a working group is coming up here on Thanksgiving, which is, can't remember exactly what day it is, the 22nd or the 24th, somewhere around there. We won't have one. And then similarly around Christmas and or New Year's. And that's something that we'll talk about as that it gets closer. So I believe that there's some external opportunities that are coming up here. That's something that I'll update and communicate here. So one of the things that I wanted to do, and we'll circle back to some of this here later, but I wanted to share where do some of the ideas come from. And the three of us that are on the live stream here today on the Zoom, myself, Mrs. Yonks, and Amy, we have been listening to Epic Content Marketing during our Saturday morning book club. And one of the things that they've been talking about in there is really dialing in the personas that you want to create content for. So we really have two personas that we want to consider when creating content. And we've really been talking quite a bit about LMI households. And the other one is gig workers. And right now we have two goals that we've put forward in our roadmap, and that's to onboard 10 households within our 3 pilot communities. And right now our pilot communities are Boulder, Welby, and Inglewood. And not going to go into detail why that we are looking at those. So one of the things there, and let me bump this up on the priority. So that's one of the things that really resonated with me as far as working on demonstrating traction. So we've been talking right now, we still have on our roadmap to do a security token offering for our projects in February of 2024. And I can't remember exactly what working group that it was that we pivoted here in the near term from Quad Co-op to Solar EV. And one of the things that I've been having side conversations about is really like when we're talking about a project like Solar EV, where we're looking to deploy the parking lot solar canopy, battery storage, and DC fast EV charging, we're really anticipating that project to be about a $5 to $15 million project. And that's not even factoring in the real estate side of that conversation. So one of the things that we had conversations about previously was doing a quad co-op security token offering. And one of the things that we did was agree to simplify the narrative. And one of the things that I've been really struggling with here, while that we've been creating a narrative around solar EV, is what's a minimum viable product that we can create and start providing value to demonstrate a traction. And this is something that I made note of here myself. So as I mentioned, we were originally prioritizing onboarding 10 LMI households in our 3 pilot communities. And one of the things that I was thinking of is like, okay, so these LMI households, they were really going to be an offtake for our solar model. So the thing that I was struggling with is like, what kind of value can we provide to those households in the near term? Because it literally may be 6 to 18 months before the infrastructure gets built. Because like right now, we don't have the funding finalized for our first solar EV project. So, and then we had a conversation with Energy Outreach of Colorado as far as working on creating a process to verify these LMI households. And they're really more geared for working with organizations that already have an agreed dynamic with Xcel Energy. And just to be completely transparent, I sent an email to Xcel over a week ago to the email address that is the main point of contact for their Solar Rewards community program, and I still haven't heard back from Xcel Energy. So that being said, one of the things that I think creates a more compelling narrative that actually has more depth in it, but it creates really what we're looking to do is gigs go green. And this is something that I've been having some side conversation with Tyler for probably a month or longer, as far as trying to figure out a go-to-market strategy. And the idea here with gigs go green is to create a narrative that me, as a gig worker that drives Uber and Lyft and our black Tesla Model Y, to have a conversation with my passengers and say, hey, I don't know if you knew, but this electric vehicle, it's still mostly coal powered. And we're really wanting to switch to 100% renewable energy. And one of the ways that we're wanting to do that is to have charging infrastructure that's available from renewable energy sources. So this is Tesla Black will be the vehicle, quite literally, in the model for getting gig workers to go green. And the niche that we're primarily focused on surrounding gig workers are other Uber and Lyft drivers. And I don't know what I'm not sure, Tyler, do you know how many, just take a swag as far as how many drivers are in Colorado? I'm guessing it's probably 5,000 to 10,000.
I'm not sure, but that's just going to be pretty easy to Google. So keep going, and I will look that up real fast. Stand by.
So right now, my thoughts are, instead of just creating a narrative around solar EV, is to change our Community Energy Innovation Prize to this tagline right here, and then just create content and narrative around that. And I wanted to open this up to Amy and Tyler for some feedback. And I wanted to also welcome Ryan to the conversation today. Welcome, Ryan. Go ahead, Tyler. I see you've got your mic open, and so does Ryan there. So give us some feedback on this tagline. You've had it the longest to chew on.
Okay, well, real quick, I couldn't find an active number. The number was 5,000 10 years ago. So it sounds like there's probably way more than that. Um, the in 2017, Uber had 2 million drivers total. So it doesn't look like there's an easy breakdown, but I'd say 10,000 would probably be a very reasonable number, if not more than that. You're on mute, Jason.
Share with us some thoughts on the gigs go green.
I think it's an interesting idea to number one, it's easy to remember, it's easy to spell, and it's a lot of people are interested in green right now. And the biggest thing that I actually was just thinking about is green for environment and green for money. Because if you're an Uber driver, overwhelmingly you're just trying to figure out how to make more money. It's if there's an environmental component, cool, not that important. Um, so I think just being able to say, hey, this is something that will help you make more money, lower maintenance costs, lower fuel costs, ownership position if you're in the Uber rental program. I just think it's the drivers are probably more interested in the financial aspect than the green aspect, but I think it's a good play on words for both.
Yeah, and my thoughts on this is to create a narrative. And let me actually bounce over here to a project page that I created. And this is like just to provide a little backstory here. So this is a page here that's kind of like the main page within Notion for organizing stuff. So I created this Tesla Black page not too long ago, and you can see it's got very little stuff in here. So compare that to, we've been talking a lot about solar EV, and let me find where that project page is at here. So maybe it's only displaying a certain amount. So anyway, that is right here on solar EV. So this page has got a lot more content, as you can see, on solar EV. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of put in our working group here is working towards a minimum viable product that we can launch for Tesla Black. Because one of the things that we're really wanting to do is to create a marketing machine where we can create, like Tyler mentioned, targeting. Like one of the numbers that we're working off of, the way that we understand the market here in Denver, and Colorado is our primary target for this. And so getting back to this page here. So I sent out this SMS with some initial ideas. So planning to create an MVP for Tesla Black of Colorado, which will be a EPC cooperative DAO. So one of the things that we've done within our working group is go through the process a little bit of becoming a certified B Corp. And that's one of the things that I think makes sense. And that's one of the things that we can determine if it continues to make sense as we grow as an organization. But when we're looking to create some good governance, having some additional tools, and the tools that B Corp has for good governance, I think is a good value proposition. But getting back to the minimum viable product conversation. So we have had lots of conversations about using unlocked protocol. We've created multiple smart contracts with their upgradable smart contract framework that they've got. And this is one of the things that we will circle back on potentially here today, time permitting. But initially, we're really wanting to create 2-member classes. And this is one, an owner operator will be the member class that will become available once we get either a financing mechanism done, and with where we're at, and from a timing standpoint, like one of the other conversations that I had was with a lending director here this week from Jobs Worth Funding. And this was more around the Tesla Black narrative. And with the time frame on things, one of the things that he communicated was to keep him updated. And this is one of the things that I believe that we have. I don't think that it would be that difficult with where we're at and the history that Tyler and I have working on a model in this space. And to be clear, this is a model for Tesla Black that Tyler and I have been working on quite literally for years. Now, the biggest question that I have is around this situation here, because I think a lot of people that are doing gig work are not doing it efficiently, and myself is included. And when I say doing it efficiently, that means that, like, because a black Tesla vehicle that we're talking about, and one of the beliefs that I have is that if you're not doing, and the reason for black, and black is one of the things that I love about this brand, is true story. If somebody, like, if you ever get an Uber or a Lyft ride and the driver picks you up in a car and the car is not black on black, they can never make the most money possible as a driver on the Uber or Lyft platform. And the reason for that is in order to provide those ultra luxury rides where you get 3 or 3.5x the normal fare, and it normally comes out to about $100 an hour. Those rides are few and far between, but if you don't have a vehicle where you can check that box, you know what? You'll never get those rides. And I do get those rides from time to time in the occasions that I drive as a Lyft driver. So going back here, I don't like advocates. I would love to hear some ideas on a better thing that we could call our members. And this is like one of the things that I remember, Amy, that you asked is, how are we going to vet the drivers? Well, guess what? We're going to vet the drivers from our existing advocates, ambassadors, future Tesla operators, whatever that we end up calling this. So we're going to create a mechanism here. And one of the things that Tyler and I talked about, $69 a year, only during pre-launch. Then 97 a year. So this is one of the things, one of the reasons that we love Unlocked Protocol. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I would love to hear some other thoughts as far as what we could call this member class here besides advocates.
Kind of like the idea of members, investor members, and driver members, or members, investment partners, driver partners, or something. I think if you're a member and you don't have any other role, member is probably the right thing. If you're either a driver or an investor, then you're probably a partner, and that might not be the right word, but that's my thought.
So one of the things, though, that I was a little conflicted with members is one of the things that is likely is that we can generate revenue. Because one of the things that we're wanting to do with this $69 a year is we're wanting to create a 2-tier affiliate marketing opportunity that can incentivize people such as myself to get out and promote joining Tesla Black as a member. And I don't know if this is something that we necessarily have to decide on today. One of the things that, go ahead, Tyler.
I think the people that are in the affiliate program could be called advocates, because that's that's what you are when you're doing an affiliate program. You're advocating for the organization.
Yeah, or ambassador, and I think that would be a separate. Let me put that down here as a third. Advocate, ambassador. That can participate in our 2-tier affiliate program. Anybody else got some ideas? Ryan, Amy? And we're talking about what could we call these members in Tesla Black DAO?
I have a question. Other than being a member, what is the benefit of those people joining at that tier?
So let's actually create this as far as like what benefits will we provide members? And we'll just call it members just to keep it here 69 year during pre-launch. And just to put a time on the pre-launch, that will be until we do our security token offering, or potentially after the security token offering is closed. And that's one of the things that we can make a decision using our governance framework. But let's turn this into a heading here. And so one of the benefits that we will provide, and this will actually be required, will be why Web3 matters. A boot camp to learn, a boot camp to we'll just call it a boot camp, and that will probably be 2 hours in length. Format, hybrid, IRL, or Zoom. So that would be kind of like an introductory boot camp, and this is one of the things that Tyler did an absolutely fabulous job for our blockchain boot camp for real estate back in, man, when was that, Tyler, that we hosted that? Was that 2021 or 2022?
2/22/22. How could you forget the date?
No, that was our International DAO Day.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Blockchain Bootcamp, I think that was maybe March, or it was like, I think it was like a month or two after International DAO Day, because anyway, I loved that format and we had such a great response. We got rated 9.9 out of 10 by all the attendees. So that was really exciting. I'd love to do more of those long cycle virtual events, really engage people that aren't local.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really anticipate would be a solid format for a hybrid event where, like, you know, we could host that at a local library or something at a low cost format. And then, like, one of the things that we would do there is if people wanted to go ahead and set up their wallet. And that's one of the things that, you know, like one of the best practices, like I literally before the live stream today wrote down the seed phrase for a new hot wallet that I created for Tesla Black DAO, because that's one of the things that we love doing on our live stream. And I'm planning to do, one of the reasons that I was want to have this conversation about the member, and it probably would be easiest just to call them members. And I don't know if owner operators is good here for this. And that's one of the things. This isn't as important because well, actually, I'm thinking that it may be, because one of the things that I'm wanting to do sooner than later is we're wanting to get this framework set up where we can like actually take somebody's $69 via a credit card and onboard them as a DAO member. And that's one of the things that we'll actually have some conversations, because that's one of the things that Tesla blacked out. Like, while we're talking about Colorado, we don't have to restrict this membership to only be Colorado, just to be completely clear. And that's one of the things that I believe maybe through some NFT attributes, and that's one of the conversations that I'll take over to the Unlock protocol. So we kind of got sidetracked here. So the thoughts here, as far as why that this will be required, we're really wanting to we're wanting this $69 and then $97 a year, where we're going to provide so much value that people are like, man, I can't believe that I'm getting all of this for less than $100 a year. That's my goal there, Amy. And that's one of the things that this boot camp is something that people, after they're a member, they can participate in whenever they want to. Because that's one of the things, like, sometimes it's nice to get a brush up. And one of the things that I'm sure will happen is that this boot camp will evolve as far as what we're communicating in there. So that's the first benefit. The other benefit is that we are going to, and I say we, I'm going to say Yonks, myself, is going to create a framework for framework and narrative so that drivers can implement their own GoFundMe campaign and make more money, theoretical, whatever, than they normally would through tips. So, like, one of the other things too is that the other benefit is that only members can become owner operators in Colorado, and I'll put planning other states in 2025 plus. So only members can become owner operators, and that's one of the things that we will use and create a process as far as allowing the members to create a narrative that we can vote on. Because, like, one of the things, and this is something that so targeting around 50 Tesla model targeting acquiring 50 Tesla Model Ys in 2024 Q2. So we'll put this as a Q2 target, and I'm not sure what the time frame will be. Right now, I'm going to update this because we mentioned February 22nd. That's got some history with us. We hosted International DAO Day on 2/22/22, so that will have been 2 years ago, and that's one of the things that we may do some fun things on 2/22/24. So just kind of putting that out there. So we'll put this kind of targeting acquiring 50 Tesla Model Ys, and members will select will shortlist, will select who from the member base will be in this initial pool of Tesla owner operators. So one of the other things that and let me actually add here as a bullet point, because this is, and let me change this to a bulleted list. So I'll put weekly or bi-weekly mastermind group for this initial And I'm going to put, this will probably be limited to only 6. First group will be capped at 10 participants for this initial group. And this is one of the things I would love to have the problem where we've got so many people that more people are wanting to participate in this weekly or bi-weekly mastermind group. And that's one of the things that will be an ongoing conversation in everything that we do are 2 basic principles: mastermind groups and investment clubs. And those will be the main tools that we as a peer group collaborate, like here. The reason for this mastermind group is so that the participants, these drivers that are having these conversations and working on refining their narrative and potentially their GoFundMe page and whatever the process is that we will use to create. Because one of the things that we can really do as a Tesla Black driver is we have the opportunity to create a Tesla Black experience. I don't know what that'll look like, and that's one of the things that I love experimenting. We're experimenting here with Web3 technology. We're going to fire up some smart contracts later here in this live stream for this right here, our member. And I think I'm going to just change this to member. I mean, keep it super simple. Member is a commonly used term to describe participants in an organization, so we'll just call them members. So anyway, getting back to this mastermind group, that's really where this group of people that are working on going through this with myself, and this isn't something like, this will be very, very iterative, especially until after we've gone through a couple mastermind groups and we really get everything dialed in and see what resonates with people. But I have a theory, I have a belief that what we are going to be doing through this narrative, like help Yonks go green with Tesla Black and solar EV, that maybe if somebody was going to tip $5, they might be more compelled to increase their GoFundMe contribution to maybe $20. So that's one of the things that will be really exciting, because the thing that's fabulous about that, like a GoFundMe contribution instead of just a tip, is that it's public social proof. And that's one of the things that together our pool of Tesla Black drivers that are getting this gigs go green. Like, one of the things, we can create a gigs go green movement. One of the other benefits here that we can do is in their own custom Web3 email address. And this would be maybe like IE, put it here, yonks.teslablack.nft at mail3.me. So let me just open up, since I talked about mail3.me. Let me just go here real quick to mail3.me. So this is a Web3 email service, and I've actually got the bookmark right here. So think of this as like Gmail, but maybe not quite as polished for like. So anyway, I'm not going to go through the app. There's the Web3 natives deserve a better email. So that's another benefit that we could provide. And let me do and I'm going to just move this to this bullet point right here. So what's some other ideas that we could provide as some benefits? Amy, Tyler, is this a good starting list?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things here. Put it back on the list for a second. Yeah, the mastermind groups, the Web3 emails. I think the under the mastermind would put training, coaching, how to actually drive the most profitably. I mean, I remember just like less than a month ago, you made $1,500 in 3 days because you knew how to do streaks and how to decline the wrong rides and how to figure out what was where and to sign off before you ran out of time. And I don't know how you would call that, but showing people that all hours are not the same hours. And
Strategy optimization is like, and that's one of the things is it's a little different when, you just get started driving, and it's a little easier also to reject a low value ride if you have the opportunity, like through a black Tesla vehicle, to check all the boxes for the premium rides or the ultra premium rides. If you can only take basic rides, you want to get everything that you can, but the situation is, if you're giving somebody a basic ride, you can't provide and you can't get an ultra premium ride. So yeah, there's a strategy optimization. So I'll just put training, coaching / strategy optimization to maximize earnings as a gig worker. And again, we're primarily focused on Uber and Lyft drivers because that's one of the things that specifically having the ultra premium black Tesla vehicle, you can really maximize earnings. And instead of maybe making $25-$30 an hour, you can flip that to maybe really averaging $30 to $40 an hour. And making 10 extra dollars an hour is quite substantial for a lot of people. And then, like, one of the other things that I want to put on here that we've talked about, and let me put this down here, is like a business as a service, and gig workers should operate as an LLC instead of individual person. And this is one of the things that we have done well. This isn't something that I operate. Like, I don't know how many years I've had gigs by Yonks, where that's been a longstanding vehicle that I do use for getting paid. When I get paid by Uber or Lyft, they don't pay me as Jason Yonker. They pay me as a 1099 through Gigs by Yonks LLC. And this is one of the things that we can set up, I believe, especially at scale, because one of the things that we're already going to get great at, and we've talked a little bit about easy Web3. I'm not going to go down the easy Web3 conversation, but that's one of the things that we're looking to consolidate services to support our DAO ecosystem through a centralized support mechanism. And that's really where we're looking to continue to do that through easy Web3. So these are some of the ideas as far as member benefits that we can provide. Anything else come to mind that you can think of, Tyler, Amy, Ryan?
I think this is a really good start. And the biggest thing is going to be if people feel like they don't understand what business as a service is and they put any value on it, providing that value and also saying, hey, I could really use help in whatever. And some of this may already fall in coaching, but people say, what kind of snacks should I have in my car? The answer is no snacks, because they just cost you money and they don't really improve your tips and things like that. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to really build out each of these things as a benefit, but probably a lot of people are just going to tell us what they think that they would want to see, and we can figure out if that fits in the model or not. I think this is a lot for, they're getting a lot for what we're charging them. So I think you do this the right way, you could make this up. You can make up more than the $69 like in a day of driving a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I think will be exciting as we continue to amplify through technology and transparency, because I'll have no problem sharing my earnings. And that's one of the things that I was talking to Tyler is that's one of the great things about having multiple sources of income is while we've been like me primarily focused on launching solar EV and doing these HeroX team submissions, I've been able to not mostly drive for the last several months while I'm in project mode. And that's one of the things that I'm getting ready to flip that switch here pretty quickly so that I can implement this vision for this GoFundMe, the Gigs Go Green with Tesla Black and solar EV. So the vision for Tesla Black is one, empower gig workers, and this is Uber, Lyft drivers, to maximize earnings and become Web3 owners. And I'm just going to put Web3 owners as a very, just that right there. Because Web3, if I had to describe Web3 in one word, it would be ownership. So the vision for Tesla Black is to become the energy company. This will be done through solar EV. To become the insurance company. This will be a sub company / brand within Tesla Black. And this is one of the things, like, when my passengers ask, who do I prefer to drive for, Uber or Lyft? True story. And I still have more rides under my belt on Uber than I do with Lyft. But that's not the case since I've owned the Tesla Model Y that is capable of checking the ultra luxury box so that I can do the Lux Black and the Lux Black XL rides. The thing with Uber is that in order to do Uber Black, it's a bring your own commercial insurance. And just for the sake of everybody, Tyler, you've done the cost analysis for that. How much extra would it be for me to get the commercial insurance so that I can be an Uber Black driver?
I think the last time I looked, it was $900 a month, and that was with a pretty clean driving record. So one of the benefits of having particularly a Lyft Black is you don't have to have that commercial insurance. The other thing that these commercial drivers are looking at is when you're on a full limo contract, you're on their insurance all or almost all the time. So you're driving, I mean, you could be putting 1,000 miles a week on your car, and that's all on your insurance company, versus if you're doing it through a platform, most of that time won't be. So it was pretty shocking how much the commercial liability was, because you're not just insuring your car, their car, you're also insuring all the liability for everything. And they didn't do a breakdown of an Uber-like experience versus limo drivers, where they're going to be transporting a lot more people. And I think that's one of the big challenges is you think about somebody who drives a party limo for proms with drunk kids in the background and distractions, and you're driving a car that's like 15 feet long and whatever. So you've got all of these challenges versus a regular car with 1 or 2 passengers, which is a normal Uber. So yeah, the breakdown on that was like $900 a month for one driver.
Thanks, Tyler. And that's one of the reasons that I put here. So vision for Tesla Black is empower gig workers to maximize the earnings and become Web3 owners. And that's one of the things, like, and I'm not really going to unpack the opportunity because like we've talked a little bit about the affiliate marketing opportunity for this member NFT. That's basically what we're looking to create is a member NFT that's going to be $69 a year during pre-launch, and that will be until February 22nd, unless we decide to extend that longer in 2024, and then it'll be $97 a year. And then the owner operators and we didn't really touch on this. I did want to touch on this. I briefly talked about the $400 a week. So what does it cost me with our Tesla Model Y? And correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, but I really have two fixed costs. We have two fixed costs. One is the financing cost, which is $1,100 a month. And then the second cost is the insurance, which is currently $250, which doesn't provide these opportunities. I cannot do Uber Black and I cannot do private rides. Real quick, just so that you know, a private ride is like you've got a passenger that's like, hey, can I give you $20 for you to take me to here? Now, that's problematic because the true story is, and most people aren't even aware of this, is if you take that $20 and you don't have that commercial insurance that Tyler was saying was like $900 a month, and you get in an accident, you won't be covered.
And not
You'll
just
be
won't be
screwed.
covered, your regular car insurance will probably, you won't be covered by Uber, but you also won't be covered by your private insurance. This is a little embarrassing. I was at an airport and I put in the address and this guy comes to pick me up, and I didn't check the license, but I didn't think about anything. Like, it was a pretty empty terminal, and I get in his car and we're driving away. And he says, "Oh, are you still going to Collins?" I said, "No, I'm going to Fifth Avenue. I thought I put that in the thing." And he said, "Oh, are you Angela?" I said, "No, I'm Tyler. Are you my Lyft?" He's like, "Oh no, I don't do Lyft. I only do Uber." And I said, "Well, this ride was supposed to cost me $20." And I actually didn't know what Jason was saying. I said, "I just Venmo you $20 if you take me where I'm going." He's like, "All right, that's cool." So we did that, and I paid him, and it was fine. And I didn't realize I was actually putting his whole business at risk. I wouldn't do that now, but I thought, man, this is really scary that drivers don't know that, and drivers don't realize that passengers absolutely will not stick up for them, lie for them, help them out. It's insurance fraud. It's a huge mess, it's a huge liability. So we just want people to understand what they're doing and what risk they're taking on and where it isn't worth it.
And if somebody's got the idea that somebody wouldn't find out, like an insurance company, come on now. Like, there's all kinds of data points. Like our phones, our smartphones are literally like these insane tracking devices that are absolutely used. So anyway, that's another conversation. That's one of the things that we will also be breaking into. And that's one of the things too, the opportunity to create content that we can enable through token gating. Because one of the things when I say token gating, that's technically what we're going to be providing people through this ERC 721 NFT as a token. And that provides great capabilities where we can say, in order to view this video, you need to have this NFT in your Web3 wallet. And that's one of the things that will really be helping our members do during this Why Web3 Matters bootcamp that will be a requirement. And what's going to happen here is if somebody a member doesn't actually participate in this bootcamp, like within their first 60 or 90 days, they will probably just refund their money and let them be on their way, because they won't really be able to benefit from having a member. And we would rather have ecstatic members that are our advocates and ambassadors, the people that we collect money from that never do anything with our membership. So that's just one of the things. That's why it's required. I'll add a little blurb to that just to work. And this is one of the things. This project page will be an ongoing work in progress. And that's one of the main places that I will be incorporating thoughts to make this a more polished narrative here. So before we move on, we've been talking a lot about Tesla Black, and that's one of the things that we will likely continue, because right now the main focus is to create a minimum viable product that we can confidently turn on and amplify through a paid marketing strategy. Because one of the goals that I personally want to onboard 100 members at this $69 price point by the end of the year. I want to personally check this box, one of the goals that we had that's on our roadmap for solar EV. And that's one of the things that I will probably more position to just call what we're looking to build the tri-co-op STO. STO is a security token offering, if I didn't mention that already. But before I move on, any final thoughts right now about Tesla Black?
I think it's gonna be a really interesting product, and it will be really interesting if we can get enough traction to get all the cars and get it going. I mean, we talked about potentially funding up to 50 with our security token offering.
One thing though, Tyler,
there is, and
one thing that I believe that there's a strong opportunity, because the problem with like just waiting to do this is like, I think that there's a real strong opportunity to get money through DeFi protocols. Because like one of the things that we will be doing is that each one of these Teslas will be tokenized. And that's one of the things that we're going to use tokenomics through a proof of contribution model. And that's one of the things that, like, I get regularly asked, why Web3? What's the value proposition of Web3? So one of the ways that we're going to use Web3 is a means of keeping score using distributed ledger technology. So like right here, there's a very different, right? This member tier that's doing a one-time $69 a year is a very different financial transaction than an owner operator that's doing $200 a week. So these cars will be owned by the Tesla Black of Colorado. And my expectation, and we're looking to do a half week, and that's one of the things that didn't really talk about. We're looking to have driver A that has the car Monday to Thursday. They can do their gig thing through the weekdays. And then driver B will have the car Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's one of the things that we expect between driver A and B. That's one of the things that we really want to try to find, like from a zip code basis. And that's one of the things that from a targeting, we're planning on targeting like Boulder, for example. That's going to be one of our target markets that we're looking to do some efforts surrounding onboarding members into. But the way that we're going to use this blockchain technology is we're actually wanting to do all of these transactions at this level on chain. I'm not going to go into detail what that looks like. And that's one of the reasons that this bootcamp will be a required component, because we really don't want people to stay at the member tier. Like, we really want them to get their own plan to becoming an owner operator in this model. And to be clear, the reason that I'm building this model is that I would rather personally participate in this model, because like I've regularly told Tyler, the Model Y, like, and I've regularly say too that the Model Y isn't my favorite Tesla. It's our fourth Tesla that we've owned. We actually totaled. I was driving. I totaled my favorite Tesla. I want a Tesla like a Model S, like a plaid that goes fast. And the thing is, though, a Model S, my preferred Tesla model, I can't check the box for providing the 7-passenger rides. So the Model Y, for me, is a workhorse so that I can maximize my own earnings when I'm out driving. So I'm creating this model because it's a model that I want to participate in, because I know that I can make more money in this model because I'll reduce my overhead, and then I could potentially get a car that I would love more, one that goes fast, one that's got ludicrous mode. And I can appreciate Tyler might not like going fast, but I love going fast. So anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of that. But again, I started rambling. I'm going to go back on mute and give Amy or Ryan an opportunity if they wanted to chime in. And if I don't see a mic open, I will go back to our agenda. I see Ryan opened up a mic, but I cannot hear anything. And if you can't get the audio fixed, feel free to throw it in the chat, and then I will relay that there as well. Still not hearing anything, Ryan. I'm going to kick over to our agenda. If I see something pop up in the chat, I will come back to that. So this is where we did the brainstorming on the topic that I just talked about. So my thoughts are right now that I would prefer to change the narrative of our Community Energy Innovation Prize. And let me actually open up our team page right now on HeroX. So here's the browser window. So this is the homepage for the Community Energy Innovation Prize. And I'm going to throw this in here to the restream for everybody. Link to Community Energy Innovation Prize. So this is the U.S. Department of Energy CEIP on our working group here today. Stands for Community Energy Innovation Prize. So our team that we've currently got, let me go to that page and I'll throw this link for everybody as well. Must have too many browser windows open. This is the problem that I was telling you about, Tyler, why I need to split my workload on my computer between. Anyway, that's we'll take that offline. So right now, for some reason, it's not opening up our team page. So I will real quick go to our link tree for Solar EV Co-op. So what are your thoughts, Tyler or Amy, about changing our team name for Solar EV to this Gigs Go Green with Tesla Black and Solar EV?
I think for the submission, I think it's too long of a name. The brand, the GoFundMe, the other stuff.
You think it's too long?
For the team name, yeah.
Well, our team name right now is probably longer.
Well, I guess I don't know them.
So let me see real quick here what it looks like to edit it. So here's what it currently is. I'll throw this in the Zoom chat. I love using this character counter tool, and I will just
Uh,
pop in there. Go ahead, Amy.
I do have a question. Those are two different business model, I believe. And
They are absolutely.
why are we changing it? Why can't we do it as two separate projects?
So the thoughts are here, Amy, is that we already did a breakout project for Community Solar Club. And one of the stipulations or challenges with the Community Energy Innovation Prize is that people can only be on like me leading this team. I can only be on one team. Now, we could I could step down from the solar EV team and let Tyler be the team leader and do a Tesla Black team. Absolutely. I mean, because I think that that's a different narrative, and the reality is that we've already got a really solid narrative that we've refined for solar EV. And honestly, like this Tesla Black narrative, we've had numerous conversations, and I think that that's something that we even have a strong white paper in. So that's why that we're having this conversation. It may make sense to have a Tesla Black team and not change the existing solar EV team.
I think if you're talking about the business structure, they're really two different things. And if we have already used the solar EV co-op theme for the other submissions, I think we just need to keep it like that. And yeah, if Tyler is okay to have that, and you can step down as the team lead, that's fine. I just believe that we don't need to confuse people, because I'm confused right now. That's why I said I thought they're two different projects. Why are we changing names? So
That is again like yeah, I had quite honestly, Amy, I hadn't thought of doing a separate team. I mean, I have no problem if Tyler wants to be the steward for the solar EV team. I, without a question, need to be the team leader for Tesla Black because that's where I can speak to the best. What are your thoughts, Tyler? You want to be the team captain for solar EV?
Am I the only one left? You and Amy, and then there's the third one.
No, Amy is on Community Solar Club, and that's one of the things that remind me to circle back if we still have time permitting, because I've got some content that I didn't put on the agenda for our mastermind group that I still want to have the initial conversation the next week on. But I personally think that's a great idea, Amy. So we like Amy and so right now it doesn't really matter who we have on the team, because that's one of the things that we haven't really done much amplification, because at the end of the day, like Amy was saying, we've already got a great narrative for solar EV and the opportunity. Make team captain. You ready, Tyler? CEO.
Sure.
So, and I'm actually going to leave team right now. Go ahead,
Tyler,
Amy.
if you want to swap with me with community solar, I can do the solar EV co-op because I'm more on solar, if that's okay with you. And you like more engaging with the community anyways.
Yeah, whatever you want's fine.
Yeah, we can do that, Jason. I can do the solar EV co-op, and she can do the community club. I guess we're gonna do a round robin.
Well, I mean that's the nice thing about like what we're doing here is that they are separate narratives, and one of the things that going to do to bridge those just from a conversation piece is going to use this tri-co-op STO. And the tri-co-op is Tesla Black, Solar EV, and then the third one is a Web3 community land trust that will basically be a vehicle for the real estate and the tokenization of the real estate, because there will absolutely be physical property involved for whether it's a parking lot or whether it's a single family house. And that's really two models that we're looking to build around solar EV, with the first, our parking lot model. So that's one of the things. I love that idea. That's a great idea, Amy. We'll work on getting that all finalized. And I want
I
to
do have a question.
go ahead.
Which part is Nick's part? I remember you assigning him something.
Absolutely. It's the Web3 AI for energy. And that's one of the things that as we know, AI has dominated startup investing in 2023. It's been the big buzzword of 2023. I don't personally see that that's going to slow down in 2024. And the thing about technology surrounding these distributed energy resources, it's going to take years for technology to really be able to be applied. And that's one of the things that I believe that we can really add some value proposition with what we're looking to do with Web3 technology. Like, I believe that we can create a better community solar model for single family homes with rooftop solar than they would get as a solo operator. But anyway, that was a great idea, Amy. We'll get that figured out offline and just do our 3 separate teams and our 3 separate narratives. And that's one of the things that it'll be interesting to see. And I don't know because one of the things that, anyway, we'll take that offline. And this is one of the things, like the resources for the Community Energy Innovation Prize. One of the ways that you can better understand is by looking at the rules. And then, like, some of the updates that have happened is there was a webinar. We're submitting on the ecosystem track for the community clean energy ecosystem track for the webinar. One of the things that we'll also be doing is be having breakout conversations. And this is one of the things that, now that we're getting our stuff finalized surrounding this, or the submission of the teams, that'll make it easier, I think, to kind of break things out and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to get back to the agenda here.
I guess have to mention to Ryan, because I don't know if this is his first time being here, but on those 3 groups that we mentioned, you pick and choose which you want to join that resonates with you most, because you can only join one group in this challenge that we're trying to submit.
And based upon the conversations that I've had, I would say Tesla Black would make the most sense, because it does sound like that Ryan is a Tesla fan, and this, I believe that that'll also provide at least where we're at, because I know that I'm personally going to be focused most. I'm gonna sprinkle some conversations around, like, the Community Solar Club and the Web3 AI for energy and solar EV. But with where I'm at, I'm the only one that can build this GoFundMe narrative that I've been thinking of literally for years. And that's one of the things that Tyler can attest to. We've had multiple domains that we've registered over the years surrounding this idea. And I'm not even going to attempt to unpack all of that. So I'll get you the link, Ryan, so that you can join our Community Energy Innovation Prize that I'll create for Tesla Black here. And that's not even something I'm going to take some time to do, because we've got some other things on our list. And that's one of the things that we love doing our working groups, is actually just rolling up our sleeves and doing some things. And we've already, on some of our previous live stream, went through the process of registering and signing up for the Community Energy Innovation Prize. So the thing that I had on the list here was registering an ENS domain. An ETH domain is important so that we can do our governance on snapshot.org. And while I'm getting that window open, let me find it here. So let's see. If I can't find it, I'll just open up another one, but I had it in a window. So I'll just open up a new one. I think I've actually got a link that I can click on right here to do this. Boom, there we go. And let me see. So going through the process, Tesla Black DAO.eth, and it should be getting me signed in. So, and here's me, yonks.eth. So one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm going to register this on my personal wallet and then actually transfer that over to a safe, a multi-sig safe that we will create. So let's go ahead next. So this is a multi-step process. I think I've got enough ETH in my wallet to do this transaction. So got a little bit 0.01, hopefully. So there was the first transaction, and let me open up the Ether scan here. I'll throw this in the live stream. So registering Tesla Black DAO.eth. And let's see. So status is a success. So let's go back over to our other tab. And let me refresh this here real quick. Finish. Open wallet. Transaction successful. You are now the owner of Tesla Black DAO.eth. So let me get a screenshot of this. And I'll get that transferred over later. It's not necessary for this, and that's a little bit of a process to going through. I've had problems like one of the reasons that I use this as a process is I've had some issues trying to register using the Gnosis Safe app for anyway, that's a longer story and a side conversation. So let me go ahead and close out these windows. So the reason that we're we obtained this is that we're going to use this ENS domain to set up our governance. And let me go here real quick to vote.ret.team. This is a custom domain that we set up to use for our governance for Retoken DAO. Retoken DAO is a DAO that myself, Amy, and Tyler are co-founders of. We're going to be rebooting that into P-Token DAO later here in 2023, 2024, whenever we get that finalized, but that's another conversation. So anyway, and snapshot.org, if you're not familiar, this is one of the ways that I love to use to describe composable technology. So you can see here that there are some very mainstream projects. Arbitrum, Optimism, if you're not familiar, those are two very prominent L2 chains on Ethereum network. I can't remember how many spaces there were on snapshot.org when we went through the process to get our own governance portal set up for Retoken DAO, but it was far less than 29,000. And that's one of the things that is a strong, I'm not going to go into details why that we love using snapshot.org, but one of the main reasons is that it supports a multi-token governance framework. So what does that mean? So over here, we were talking about having multiple members, and just going back to that conversation, like two different tiers of members. We're looking at having a member tier. So this one will be one token. This will be a separate token. Whenever somebody transitions from a normal member into an owner operator, will burn their existing or deactivate their existing token so that they have this one. Because one of the things that we're really looking to do is we're wanting to build cooperative principles into our DAO, our decentralized autonomous organization. And one of the things that is a strong cooperative principle is one member, one vote. So that's one of the things that we will work on getting documented here for Tesla Black and any of our organizations that we have within our ecosystem. So we'll be talking more about that as far as getting the governance framework set up. One of the things that I'm looking forward to doing is to create a Genesis proposal that all of us can really vote on. And that's one of the things that will be somewhat conversational. Right now, we are in a pre-launch mode. One of the reasons that I wanted to register this ENS domain right here is I'm actually wanting to get the legal entity created for Tesla Black DAO LLC. That will be a Wyoming DAO. Not going to go into details why that we love Wyoming, but there's multiple different reasons. So anyway, getting back to the agenda, we can check off this box here, register Tesla Black DAO.eth. One of the other things that we can do is we can actually go through the process of creating an initial token for Tesla Black DAO. And because one of the things that we need to have done before we register the entity, and this is one of the things that we're going to use a pretty similar methodology as far as a tri-token governance, where we're going to have two different members, and this is one of the things. We'll have the two members that we talked about, the members and the owner operators, and then we will have the token holders, and that's one of the things that right now we will create a social token, and then when we do our token offering in Colorado, that's one of the things that we will look to translate that token. So let's go ahead and get that done. I created, because we still have a half an hour. Let me see what else other things that we've got on here on the actual agenda. I'm going to put this, go ahead, Amy, go ahead.
Jason, I think Ryan has a question in the chat for you. And also, Tyler, if you can leave EV Solar Co-op and go to the Community Solar Club that we formed, that way when I leave there, somebody is in that group because I'm the only one there right now.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'm trying to figure out it because Nick's the only person on my team right now. I don't know if that's going to make him the team captain or
Which one are you talking about, Tyler?
Amy and I are going to switch clubs. So I don't know. Nick's the only person on my team. So I don't know if I leave the team, he just becomes the team captain. Then he has to make Amy the captain.
No, I think is that how it's because if I leave Community Solar, nobody will be there.
All right. Here, let me do that real quick and I'll get that figured out.
Okay.
So in the question in the chat, Ryan was talking about in a market for new vehicles. So what we're looking to do here, the vehicle that we're in the Tesla Black model, we're absolutely wanting those vehicles to be black on black, 7-passenger Model Ys. And the reason for that is that those are the best vehicles to drive. They're not that much more expensive from a cost standpoint. I think maybe 10 grand, if I understand the last time that I looked, compared to a Model 3. And I haven't, it's been a minute since I've looked, but over the life of a vehicle, it's unquestionably having the 7-passenger option, because my expectation is that for our Tesla Black model, the vehicles we will age out from ownership within the cooperative model when they no longer are available for the ultra luxury tiers. And that's on a market by market basis. But the vehicles will still have an immense amount of life because they have a lot longer life for just doing the XL rides. You just can't qualify for the ultra premium because the ultra premium rides normally have a 4 to 6 year life expectancy. And that's one of the things that both Uber and Lyft are constantly changing what those numbers look like, just based upon the large numbers of data that they have from their perspective. So we could take that conversation offline, Ryan. We're really at a point where we're pretty close to looking at decentralized finance for getting these vehicles funded. We've got on our roadmap to do a security token offering. And the thing about the difference in having the conversations, because we're wanting to have the conversations regardless of how our security token offering goes, because one of the things that we will utilize from the equity that we raise through our security token offering is to become the insurance company. And we're really wanting to earmark about $1 million to become the insurance company. And that's one of the things that as we have more of those conversations, those numbers will become a lot more concrete so that we can have a very solid business case that we're looking to bring forward through our security token offering, where we've thought through all of these things, had all of the conversations, really shopped around. Because one of the other things too is that I believe that we start getting some traction, we may be able to circle back to, like I mentioned, the conversation that had with the director of lending at Jobs Worth Funding. Once we demonstrate some traction here and actually get people to commit, like through a letter of commitment or letter of intent or whatever that agreement is, like where a member would, and that's one of the things that we still need to finalize with the process, because we need to create a process where it's a peer-reviewed process through Tesla, through the Tesla Black DAO, for determining who that we're going to entrust with our money, that we're going to create, like you said, Amy, a process for vetting the drivers through this peer reviewed process within the DAO. So one of the things, and I'm actually going to bump this up to a higher priority, is scheduling the conversation with Abba from Arcreen Network. So let me find his link for that. And while I'm looking for that, I'm actually just going to open up Evergreen, because this is probably even a higher priority than the scheduling the conversation with Arcreen. So I was on here this last week, a Twitter space with Arcreen, and Arcreen, and let me change gears because I got this page to load here. So right now we're talking about discussing Ever.Green, a blockchain platform for tax credits and REX. So that's something that I just put the link on there. So the way that I understand REX, and this is renewable energy credits, is that as a community solar operator here or producer in Colorado, that Excel Energy, the investor-owned utility, gets to buy those RECs for us, and we can't really sell those on the open market. Now, the other big opportunity that is made possible through the Inflation Reduction Act is the transferability of the investment tax credits. The investment being the funds used to acquire and deploy the infrastructure. Like with solar EV, we're looking to deploy solar panels in a parking lot, a battery storage, and then DC fast EV charging. So there's three components that would be eligible for these investment tax credits. And again, the Inflation Reduction Act made that transferable. So let's look here at sell tax credits. And this is something too, that they actually have a really great Inflation Reduction Act tax map. And that's something that we may come back to look at, because that really talks and shows using the map where the opportunities are to really stack some of these tax credits. And this is a, let me see if this is, so make your projects a reality with clean energy tax credits. So let's go through the schedule a call here. So this is a conversation that I would like to have sooner than later. This is a core component of finding a solution for this. So let's take a look on Monday. Let's see what Tuesday looks like. Can you take a look, Tyler, and see on your calendar here what time would make the most sense for us? Because these times in the afternoon are normally pretty good.
Which day is this again?
This is Tuesday the 7th.
Late afternoon would be the best. Is like 4 o'clock an option? Or 5 o'clock?
No, we're only looking at and on Monday it is, but that's not Monday.
Monday's out. Tuesday's actually pretty booked. Is Wednesday is totally open. Is there any time on Wednesday?
Yeah, we've got a 2:30 and then 5.
Let's go ahead and grab 2.
Is that a good time for you? Also, Amy, 2 Mountain, 3 Central on Wednesday the 8th.
Yeah, just remind me. I'm flexible as long as I know.
Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and get that finished booking and get us added to that. So I'm gonna put the let's see, Wednesday. November 8th, 2 p.m. MST. So I'll take a look. I think that tonight with ABBA may work, but I'll have to take a look at the availability. I'll take that offline because that's one that I would really like to get Nick involved in that conversation, because I know that Nick has his own distributed energy resource at his house with the Tesla Energy Solution. And Arcrene, just so that you know, is a categorically, they're in the DePIN space. And that's one of the things that, for those that have knowledge about Web3 projects, DePIN is Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. And the most noteworthy project that some people may know about is Helium. Helium had a good amount of success working to build out a network infrastructure, and Arcrene is looking to do something similarly surrounding energy. And they're very early right now. I think that they're just launching here in 2023. And with us being a pioneer in the distributed energy resources space and looking to amplify through a network effect, looking to somebody else that's going to be operating in a similar space, there may be some synergies there. So one of the other things that I was wanting to do, I'm gonna take this offline. So one of the things that I was wanting to look at is Google Trends. So categorically, how that I think that would best describe this tri-co-op STO. And again, the tri-co-op is Tesla Black, Solar EV, and the Web3 Community Land Trust, which is basically to do the real estate component to facilitate the solar EV aspect. I would categorize those as a circular economy and regenerative finance model. So for those that haven't used trends.google.com, it's a great way that you can look at various things. So let's look at regenerative finance. Explore. So regenerative finance, hashtag refi, is the best way that people that are in Web3 and crypto blockchain would really describe a business model surrounding what we're doing. So another one that's been used quite a bit is circular economy. So we'll search on this and see what that looks like. Interest over time. And I'm going to change this to the past 12 months to see what it looks like. So this shows you here that circular economy, without a question, is much more widely utilized to describe what we're doing here. So that being said, and I don't know if there's a way that we can switch these spaces like this. I wonder if cancel, because I can't remember if this shows. So this does show areas like here in Colorado, circular economy searched way more than regenerative finance. So this is something that I was curious about, because sometimes with how much time that I spend around the Web3 and blockchain can sometimes have a slightly tilted perspective. So this is one of the things that we should, I believe, really use to describe. And I don't know if there's a better example, and that's something. So when I'm talking about circular economy, does that make sense to anybody? Have you heard that term before, Tyler, circular economy?
From our conversations, not in other situations.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna put a link.
The same,
Go ahead, Amy.
Is it the same as a closed loop ecosystem?
Not necessarily, because like one of the things that I really envision, like with our model here, is that we'll have a substantial revenue where we can really like provide benefits to our cooperative members and really help because like one of the things that Tyler and I can really attest to, at least from our experience over the last 5 years or longer, is that a lot of gig workers are kind of in a poverty trap. And that's one of the things that we really want to do, is to implement wealth building strategies and really create business models that will allow gig workers to become Web3 owners instead of gig workers that are stuck in a poverty trap, renting their Tesla from Uber or Lyft at $400 a week. And I don't know how many drivers rent Teslas from Uber or Lyft at $400 a week here in the metro area. I would guess it's literally hundreds.
I'm gonna send to Tyler the research that I did already for Justice 40. I'm gonna just cut and paste and send it on a Google Sheet and just mark it on the work done, because that's more on the community thing that we are talking about, right? The Justice 40.
So that would really be like the Justice 40 would, I think, be more geared for solar EV as far as,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
She doesn't need it. Okay.
So let me close some of these windows because I think my computer's getting. But yeah, any other thoughts like on before we move off of the this was more of a benefit for myself to really just get some closure on the direction that we should go. And I think that circular economy, and that's one of the things that I'll find a good, like, what is the circular economy, and add that as a action item for discussion for our next working group on Sunday the 12th. So looking here at the time, we've only got 10 minutes left, and one of the things that want to get better at is capturing some things for inclusion within our next working group. So let me actually get back to our Notion page here, and I'm gonna take some of the stuff offline as far as the Tesla Black DAO. After thinking through, I think just simplifying the conversation around Tesla Black and just call that a member, and then when they transition from just being a member to an owner operator, that's when we would have a different NFT for designating them as an owner operator. So that's one of the things. I'll create some content, and because like one of the things that I would really like to do that we don't have yet is create a Tesla Black DAO channel on YouTube so that we can start streaming like this working group and the conversations, because as I said, the conversations are going to amplify and intensify surrounding this. And that's one of the things that I'll think about here, because like right now, this live stream, we're streaming to, I think, 3 or 4 different YouTube channels. And that's one of the things that we can potentially clean up and create. And that's one of the things, too. I'm looking forward to seeing Fireflies, the AI bot. This is literally our first working group where we're being more intentional. We talked about using some AI in our content and stuff like that. So looked at this stuff, ensured decisions and next actions have been captured. So this is one of the things that's a next action, and is create the unlock protocol member NFTs for Tesla Black, create social tokens for. So one of the things I was talking about too is using TBK. This was a side conversation that I had with Tyler to really like, and where we're going to use that is across our token. So Tesla Black DAO would be in the DAO and the and TBK CO. This would be the entity for Colorado. So that's one of the things that, like, just to again mention for the people that are participating today, we're going to be getting tokens for participation here. And this is one of the things that we may also do. And that's one of the things that we may create an opportunity here where you can burn some of the tokens that you are earning for participating here to acquire the member NFT. I know that that was one of the fun things that we had done for our blockchain bootcamp. And that's just one of the ways that we love having fun, utilizing this Web3 technology to get people more acclimated to using it and get a hands-on experience. So I'm going to move this down to the next actions here. This next actions and here. So and then the other next actions is get the HeroX team stuff all squared away. And I see that Amy and Tyler are working on that a little bit in the behind the scenes. That's Tesla Black, Solar EV, Community Solar Club, and then also the Web3 AI for energy. So we're literally going to have 4 teams, and that's one of the things we've got. Just to put as a reminder, we've got until February the 2nd to finalize our narrative for each one of these teams. And this is something that I put in here, Yonks and Amy. And did I get that right? Amy, you're going to do Solar EV, and Tyler,
Yeah.
Community Solar Club.
Who is still in Solar EV? If I cannot join in, can somebody invite me in there?
I'm not sure. We can figure that out
Okay.
offline.
Nick is the only person in my team, and we'll just text him after this. I think he had a conflict today, but yeah, we can do that. I'm still not able to get in, so Amy, I'll figure this out later.
So that's the next actions here. And like I said, I'm going to be extremely focused on getting a minimum viable product set up for Tesla Black. That's something that we've got a good amount of experience with. We pretty quickly got a minimum viable product set up for BMT Guide, and that's one of the things that I'm planning on doing similarly. And part of the reason that wanting to get the entity created for Tesla Black is ideally that I would really like to get our Stripe account set up so that we can start taking credit cards using the Tesla Black DAO entity with that we haven't even registered yet in Wyoming. So just trying to get some things done, and that's going to be a priority here for whether it's Monday or Tuesday. We've got plans to go up to do a craft beer tour in Fort Collins, which I'm so excited about. Anyway, that's something that's going to occupy our time tomorrow. But we've got 5 minutes left of our working group. We went through a whirlwind of information, as we always do within our working groups. But what else have we, as far as decisions and next actions, have we captured everything?
Is at the bottom of the scroll for the next actions? Okay. I threw it on the website too. I don't remember if we talked about that during the group or that was you and me before, but need to figure out some general website stuff, and also an email and some other database on the back end.
Yeah, and let me check here real quick. My computer's been running a little bit slow. Am I getting all garbled, or is that just for my computer that's not doing good receiving the packets from
No, you're fine.
you? Okay, cool. So let me look. I'll take that offline, Tyler. I know that we've registered several domains already, quite like a month or two ago for Tesla Black. The Tesla Black isn't a new thing. The thing that's kind of new is that we're talking a little bit about here over the course of the working group using Tesla Co-op. I think that there's so much importance around Tesla Black and just to visualize, and then also from a branding standpoint, the opportunity of saying that one of the benefits that we're looking to provide is so that the Uber and Lyft drivers can become the insurance companies so that they can do Uber Black. Because I've been a driver since 2016 and I've never been able to provide Uber Black rides because right now, today, it's the insurance cost that's prohibitive. And since I don't have to have commercial insurance to do Lyft Lux Black rides, because the value proposition is that I think that Uber probably gets more Black business than Lyft gets Black business. Now, until I have the insurance, I can't really know, because one of the things that I have done before really had the Black vehicle was sign into both Uber and Lyft and then take the most profitable ride. And sometimes it makes sense where you only filter for the ultra premium or the premium and ultra premium rides, because then that way you're making 2x or 3x instead of 1x for just doing a normal Uber or Lyft ride. But we'll be talking more about those conversations. I really think one of the things that we've put on the calendar is doing a hybrid event the 29th and or the 30th in Boulder. I would really like to make that a Tesla Black hybrid event. And with having literally, what would that be? 3 or 4 weeks, not quite 4 weeks, but 3.5 weeks. I think that we could really get a minimum viable product online. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about is, and I'm actually going to add this as a next action, is explore viability of submitting a grant request to Unlock Protocol community for Tesla Black. So that's one of the things. I was on the Twitter space. We've got good, Tyler and myself have great rapport with the Unlock Protocol community, and I do regularly participate in the Unlock Protocol community town halls. And I was on there one on when I think it was on November the 1st, but I can't remember what day that was. And planted a seed about we will likely submit a grant request. I don't know what that process looks like or what the benefits would be, because it's been a minute since we've looked at that, but that's one of the things that I will explore and bring forward for conversation on our working group next week. But we're now at the hour. Any final thoughts from anybody before we bring it to a wrap here today?
No, great job getting us all going. It's exciting.
Alrighty, well, go.
I'm deep in the weeds here, but yeah, I'm looking for the team. But anyway, we'll probably just DM each other in case I didn't get it done. I would probably need Nick to invite me in after I leave the community solar.
Yeah,
Club.
sorry, I think I missed on that, Amy, but we'll get with Nick right after we're done on this call and he'll get it figured out for you.
Did you join already or not yet? Just let me know if you joined.
I'm on your team, Amy.
Okay, good.
So we'll get you on so you can leave and then
Yeah,
We'll get you on mine.
okay, thank you.
And just wanted to extend a welcome to Ryan. Like, the way that we work here is very open and public. We move fast, and that's one of the main benefits is that we're all learning together here, and we have no problem holding hands and really helping people through this, because and that's why we're going to be doing the boot camp. It's making it a requirement for Tesla Black members, is to answer that question of why Web3 matters, because we believe that there's a better way, and that's one of the things, and we believe that better way to be Web3, and that's one of the things that we will continue to be committed to best practices, find, implement, refine. So that's one of the things that we have as a ethos that we operate in, and really looking forward to helping more people become Web3 owners in a civilization that continues to gear us to be more renters in everything that we do. So anyway, have a fun and safe rest of your weekend. Apologies for the delay in getting things scheduled. That's one of the things that I'm committed to doing better at. And one of the things that I will probably chunk out some time is really look at getting our working group schedule finalized and events created throughout the holiday season, because we're literally a couple weeks away from Thanksgiving. And I know that but that's one of the things that will be exciting, because like around the holiday season, there's more opportunities for people to have conversations about things that they're excited about. And we want to create here through the holiday season excitement surrounding participating in these projects, because it is exciting to help people become more owners and create more opportunities hyper locally for worthwhile projects. Have a good one.